Did you just purchase the Cricut Explorer 3? Or maybe you're thinking about purchasing the Cricut Explorer 3, but you don't know whether this machine is going to be right for you, and if you've purchased it, maybe you need help setting it up. Well, today I have partnered with Cricut to help you guys completely unbox and set up your brand new Cricut Explorer 3 and go over some beginner questions that you may have. Let's start off with the fun stuff. Let's completely unbox and set up the Cricut Explorer 3 first. Then we're going to dive into those questions you may have. So make sure you guys watch all the way to the end so you don't miss a thing. Step one may seem like it's the easiest, but sometimes I think we get very intimidated and it seems like the hardest thing to do, and that's simply opening your box. But don't you worry, follow right along, and I'm gonna make this so easy for you to not be afraid to open this box up. So step one, I challenge every single one of you guys, if you've purchased your machine, grab that box, hit pause, let's open it up. So starting off, it's so easy. You're just gonna pull the tab. You can do it too. So we're gonna pop that open and lift it. Cricut has always made their packaging so much fun. You're gonna get a really awesome experience whenever you go to unbox this. So the first thing that Cricut gave us is a little message that says, "You were born creative." I absolutely love that. So they are starting you off with positivity and they are inspiring you, telling you you can do it. So let's go ahead and keep going. So we're going to open that second flap, the third, and the fourth. Congratulations! I'm proud of you. You're inside the box. So let's keep going. All right, so the first thing that you're going to come to is this really fun envelope. It makes me feel nice and special. I feel like I've been invited somewhere royal. So you're going to have your envelope, and inside of here, you're going to have your little sticker on the back. You are going to find your get started information. So that's why they've put it on top. This is going to tell you how to get started setting up your machine. But once again, I'm going to walk you guys all the way through that process. So to get started, they're telling us to go to Cricut.com/setup, which we will do in just a second. The next thing you're going to find in your package is a piece of smart material. So this is going to be a piece of material to get you started for the setup. Because when we go to set this machine up, they're going to actually give you your very first cut just to walk you through the simple step of loading this and cutting it out. So we're going to set this aside as well. The last two things in the envelope, you're going to have your warranty information as well as your safety instructions. You're going to find a pack of sample materials. So let's go ahead and open it up and see what all is included. Let's go ahead and slide these out of here. You're going to get another piece of that smart vinyl. This one is much bigger, so that way you can do multiple projects, multiple cuts to get you started, so that way you don't have to waste any material. You're also going to get a piece of transfer tape. This is a nice size as well, so that way whatever projects you're creating with that vinyl, you have a piece of transfer tape. They have also included a piece of smart iron-on. So not only can you get started with your adhesive vinyl projects, putting it on coffee mugs or maybe personalizing your laptop, you're also going to be able to make some iron-on projects that you can put on t-shirts. So you've got a piece of that to test out as well. Once again, this one is smart, so you do not need a mat. Last but not least, you're going to get a piece of Cricut Smart Cardstock. Once again, this is a piece of smart material, so you guys do not need a mat. So with the sticky cardstock, you can make stickers with this if your printer prints wide enough for this, or you could use something like your pens, for example. So if I wanted to make labels for my spices or anything like that, you could use your Cricut pens along with this and make some really fun labels. Now it's time to get your machine out. What I actually like to do is tilt mine on the side, wiggling back and forth. I'll pull this side, I'll pull the other side. I'm basically going to just kind of pull it out like this. It's okay if it is on the front here. It's not going to hurt it. I'm just going to get this out just like so, and now I'm going to flip it on the bottom. Before we get this box completely out of the way, I wanted to tell you at the very bottom of your box, you are going to find your power cord as well as your USB cord. Now that we have our machine out, I'm just going to go ahead and remove the covering here. We have officially unboxed the Cricut Explorer 3. Once again, if you've made it this far, pat yourself on the back. Moving on to step 2. This is another one that may be challenging to some of you guys and once again, intimidating. I'm going to walk you guys through and show you how easy it is to set up your Cricut Explorer 3. It's going to be a breeze, I promise. So once again, get your machines ready. You can hit pause, you can rewind, and we're going to completely walk through this together. To start the setup process, refer back to your green card that you opened at the very beginning of the unboxing process. From there, you're going to find your web address that you need, which is Cricut.com/setup. /setup, which looks just like this. So what we're going to do is we are going to go to where it says Smart Cutting Machines, and we're going to click it. From here, you can see all of the options whenever it comes to the Cricut machines. So you're going to find yours. So for example, we are setting up the Cricut Explorer 3. So we're going to go ahead and click on that one. So the first thing that Cricut is telling us is we need to prepare our workspace. So we need to make sure there is at least 10 inches away from the wall. The reason why is because it needs room for your Cricut mat to go in and out. And if you're going to be using the Cricut Smart Materials, those are going to feed all the way through here. Because with the Cricut Smart Materials, it allows you to cut without the mat, that you can cut these really long lengths. Now remember, after a while, it can kind of roll up on its own, and that's okay. But you just need at least that 10 inches of clearance. Now, as you guys can see from this little video diagram, which I absolutely love, makes it so easy, it is showing us now to plug in our power cord to the back of the machine and then plug it into an outlet. As you can see now, it's showing us to turn on the power button. But before you turn on the power button, I wanted to point out that you want to open up your lid. So fun, right? I love the way that this one opens. You're going to notice there is a piece of styrofoam inside that you need to remove. So before you turn on that power button, make sure you guys remove this piece of styrofoam. So now let's turn it on. So we're just simply going to hit the power button. It's time to connect our Cricut Explorer 3 to the computer. So you're going to need the included USB, or you can use Bluetooth. If, for example, your computer now has the USB-C, so we have the included regular USB, all you simply have to do is purchase an adapter. So there's little ones that just clip right on the end and it turns your USB into USB-C. I'm sure you can grab that locally, or you can order one online. I'll have one linked below. But for example, this one here has a USB, a USB-C, and all of those things. So I'm gonna go ahead and connect this into the USB slot just like that. And now it's going to convert it to a USB-C. To connect your machine, you're going to take this side right here that looks a little bit more square, and we're simply going to insert it right here. Now that we have one side connected to our Cricut Explorer 3, we're going to put this side in the computer. As you guys can see from the screen, we are completely set up. Yes, that's it. It is set up. Now it is connected to our computer, so we can use our phones, tablets, the computer. We can use it via USB, or we can use it via Bluetooth, which most of us will use. But if you're comfortable and you want to use that USB, you definitely can. So now that the machine is officially set up, now we could go in and do some test cuts or start making projects. One of the first things that Cricut is going to offer you before you start making your projects is 30 days free trial to the Cricut Access. Now, before I go over what's included, is it right for you to join the Cricut Access? One of the questions I see all of the time is, do I have to become an Access member to use Cricut Design Space? And the answer is no. You definitely do not have to have Cricut Access to use designs. You can definitely purchase them separate. You can upload your own designs. There is free fonts. You can upload your own fonts. There's a lot of stuff that you can do completely free. I've always thought with Cricut Design Space, it is a good one, once again, because it kind of pays for itself. But what I highly recommend, those 30 days are completely free. So if you are new, you are a beginner, and you're wondering, is this right for me? Don't listen to what I have to say or what anybody else has to say or what Cricut has to say. Try it out for yourself. So during that 30 days, that's going to give you the time to figure out, do you play with those extras enough? Do you use the designs in Cricut Design Space enough, those fonts? Or do you shop enough on Cricut.com? Do you use it for those bundles to justify the membership? And if you don't, once again, just simply cancel it. So highly recommend try out that 30-day membership. Now it's time to decide. Start your free trial or maybe later. So if you're on the fence about starting that free trial, all you simply have to do is click maybe later, and they will give you that 30 days at a later time. So if in a couple months you decide, you know what, I'm ready to try it for the 30 days, come back and you're going to be able to still do that because you're new. All right, so now it's time to test out our machine. So we are going to go ahead and hit next. The first thing that Cricut is telling us to do here is to prepare our fine point blade. So you want to double check, during shipping, things like that, stuff can fall out. So you want to go ahead and pull out your fine point blade that looks like this, and then we're just going to drop it right back in there, close the door, and we know that that is secure and ready to go. Now, as you can see from the diagram, it's telling us to take that piece of included smart materials and you're going to stick it right underneath these pieces here. So there's these two little white lips. You're going to stick it under those and just stick it up to the rollers, and then we're going to hit the arrow in, and the machine's going to go ahead and take it in. It's going to now measure. So what's happening is it's going to take it in and out just to make sure that you have enough material. Now, Cricut's telling us to go ahead and hit the go button. Some of you guys may be asking yourself, is this machine already cutting? Is it really cutting? Yes, it is. So we did not need a mat. We just simply loaded it. Now we're gonna hit the unload button. And as you guys can see, I'm gonna bring it up here so you guys can see it actually cut out the word Cricut. I'm gonna weed that so you guys can check it out. Another question I see all of the time is, can we still use the remaining pieces of our smart material on the Cricut mat? And the answer is yes. So you can see here, this is no longer gonna fit between both wheels, but you can load this piece on a Cricut mat and it will cut it out. Now that I've got this trimmed down for us, I'm just gonna take a weeding tool here, weed out the outside. As you guys can see from this diagram, I actually weeded it backwards, but it's okay. It's ours. We can do whatever we want. So you can weed this piece out and it's gonna weed across all of those, or we can weed out the individual letters. So check that out. It cuts absolutely amazing. It is that easy. We have unboxed this and we have already made our very first cut. As you guys can see, it was so easy to cut out our very first project. Now I'm gonna set this aside because I can put this on a coffee mug, I can put it on a tumbler and have my very own Cricut merch.
Great job setting up your new machine. Now it's time for the fun part. Let's get making. This page is a great place for beginners to start. Begin with step-by-step interactive exercises. If you need help, Cricut Learn, our free official education site, is also a great place for beginners to start. Watch our free beginner videos, download cheat sheets, or sign up for live workshops. We also have social media groups that offer inspiration and support. And remember, it's okay to make mistakes. We all do. The important thing is to dive in and start making. Build your own fantasy, feeling anti-gravity, nothing holds you down, you're creating something now.
How fun was that? So Cricut includes this really fun welcome video and they bring you straight to this My Learning Plan. If you decide that you need more help, come over here to the left where it says Cricut Learn. You're simply going to click right here. Over at Cricut Learn, you're gonna find all of the information that you're gonna need as a beginner. So once again, if you're somebody that really needs that step-by-step, slowed down video process, I highly recommend that you guys check this out, and I'm gonna have it linked below, so that way if you can't find it, you will find it. It'll say Cricut Learn right below. One thing I really love that Cricut has done to make this so easy, not only can I sit here and scroll through all of these to figure out what video I need, I can simply type out iron on and hit that search, and it's going to bring up all of that content and resources about iron on. So I can learn from bags, t-shirts, hats. It's going to give me everything that I need to know. Now that we have completely set up and unboxed the Cricut Explorer 3, you guys could see how easy and user-friendly that was. Let's go over some of the common questions that you may have. The number one question I see whenever it comes to purchasing your very first Cricut Explorer 3 is this machine easy for someone like me? Is this machine more for the advanced crafter? I'm just a crafter that's just getting into crafting, or I've never used a die cutting machine before. Is it going to be easy to learn? The answer is yes, you can do it. And the reason why I started the video with the unboxing and the setup is so you've seen that for yourself. It is so easy to set up and start using this machine out of the box. You do not have to be an advanced crafter, an expert, or a pro. Cricut has made using the Cricut Explorer 3 along with Cricut Design Space so easy. It is so beginner friendly, and once again, now that Cricut even has Cricut Learn, they've made it so much more more easier for you to follow along. There is so much content on YouTube alone, so you don't even have to just watch Cricut Learn. You could definitely just head on over to, YouTube or all of the social medias. There's so many crafters like myself that teach how to use this. So highly recommend that you check that out as well. Find your favorite crafter, whether it's me or whether it's somebody else, and follow along with their videos. The next question is, how much does it cost to use the machine? Is there any hidden cost? So for example, like the Cricut Access, do we have to have that? I addressed that earlier. You definitely do not have to sign up for their membership, so there is no added cost. You purchase your machine, and the next cost that you will have, which would be on your own terms, is, are you making t-shirts? Are you making a mug? You're simply going to be paying for those materials. For example, if I'm making a coffee mug, I'm going to need to purchase the coffee mug, and I'm going to need to purchase my vinyl, as well as maybe some basic tools, which we'll get into here in just a bit. So whenever it comes to cost of owning the machine, it totally depends on what you are crafting with. What are you planning on doing with it? Are you going to be selling and making money using your machine? Are you simply just a crafter and you're making, a t-shirt for your grandson, or maybe you're making some projects for the local softball team, or making a coffee mug for your mom? So really, truly, that is a hard one to answer. It all boils down to, what are you making? There is no hidden cost, so there is no membership that you have to have. That is by choice. And so are you going to be using vinyl? So it may cost you 20 cents a sheet, or maybe you are using iron-on and it may cost you upwards to $3 a sheet. So those are things to keep in mind. Another really good question I see all of the time is there any maintenance? What do we have to do to keep this machine running? There is no maintenance. The only technical maintenance there may be is purchasing new blades. So whenever your blade becomes dull, it is super easy to replace. You're just going to grab some replacement blades. You could definitely just get it. And I think it may come in a 2-pack. I like to purchase the bulk, so they look like this, and you really never have to buy them. I think this is a quantity of 10. I'll link it down below. I like to keep these on hand because you never know when you're going to need to replace that blade, because that's another question we have, is how often. It all depends on what you're cutting. When it comes to your blades, one of the things that I always highly recommend is getting a second housing. So for example, Cricut does sell a housing that is in gold. They call this premium. It's identical to the silver one. And so what I like to do is, so the premium is the gold. I like to designate that to my iron-on and my vinyl. And the silver one, both of them have the same blade. They're just different housings, so I can recognize which one's which. The silver one I will use for all my paper and cardstock. You will have to replace your blade more with the paper and cardstock. And when I say more, it's months and months. So you can really use this for a long time. It just depends on how much cardstock are you doing. If you are cutting tons, and I mean hundreds of flowers a day maybe, you may have to replace it once a month. But if you only use paper and you're only doing projects like once a month, or once a week or whatever, you could use your blade for months and months, like I said. Now vinyl and iron-on, that blade will last you a super duper long time. You may only replace your blade once a year. Honestly, they last you a very, very long time. It just depends on what you are cutting. To replace your blades, it is so easy. You're simply going to push down on this piece right here. So as you can see, it's very pushable, if you will. You're going to push that in and your blade is going to pop out. So hopefully you guys can see that. Very carefully, you're going to grab it and pull it out. You're going to take your next blade, which will have a cover. You're going to pull that cover off. You're going to hold it just like this. You're going to insert it in. You can let go of it. There's a magnet inside, and it's going to kind of click in. So you're going to feel, once that magnet grabs it, you can feel that. And then you're just simply going to let go of that. And now you're ready to keep going. So you'll just insert it back in there and close the door. Another question I see all the time as a beginner is, what should I purchase when I first purchase my Cricut Explorer 3? Some of the things that I highly recommend that you grab right away is maybe some mats. Once again, your Cricut Explorer 3 does not include a mat because it can use smart materials. It doesn't need a mat. Now, if you guys are going to be using, for example, the rolls or the sheets, so these are some sample packs of iron-on and vinyl from Cricut. So that's another thing that I recommend, is purchasing maybe some of their sample packs. So that way you can get some of those colors and figure out what you want to get started with. So get some sample packs of iron-on as well as vinyl. Coming back over to the mats though really quickly is which mats do I recommend? The blue, the purple, the green, the pink. If you're going to be cutting fabric, then you want to get yourself a pink mat. If you're not going to, I wouldn't worry about it. Something that I like to do is purchase these 3 packs. It comes with the blue, the green, and the purple. So you're going to have every single one of them. Same thing with the 12 by 24 mats. It's going to come with all 3. I highly recommend you get both sizes, the 12 by 12 as well as the 12 by 24. If you can only afford one right away and you know that you're going to be doing something bigger than 12 by 12, then just purchase the 12 by 24. If you're only going to be doing 12 by 12 projects or smaller, then only purchase the 12 by 12. So always just start out with the minimal materials that you actually need to get started. Something that I always recommend too is getting the bundles. So Cricut does have several bundles to choose from where it actually comes with the mats. It comes with this toolkit here, which I'll also show you guys that I highly recommend getting. It comes with the paper trimmer, which I use for everything. I use that for iron-on, vinyl, all of that stuff. It comes with the weeding tools as well as a scraper tool and a pair of scissors. So this is a nice little set to get started with as well. This is called the Essentials Tool Set. All of these things will be linked below, but I would consider looking at a bundled machine because you're going to get a better bang for your buck, if you will. You're going to get a better deal because they're going to discount everything to put it all into a bundle. And so you're going to get your machine, and there's several bundles to choose from. So for example, I would choose one that had the Cricut Explorer 3, the Essentials Toolkit, maybe a few different sizes of mats, even if it's only the 12 by 12 or the 12 by 24. And then it's going to include your iron-on and vinyl as well. Another thing that you may want to look into is smart materials. So if you plan on using your Cricut Explorer 3 without the mat, I would highly recommend checking out maybe a bundle that includes the smart iron-on as well as the vinyl. They have some stencils. So if you plan on making like doormats or anything like that, that will be a good one. Etched glass. So grab yourself some smart materials or look for a bundle that includes those as well. Another thing for those smart materials, may want to consider getting a roll holder. Once again, you do not have to have all of this stuff to start out, but these are some bundles that I would look into if I was wanting to go down this avenue. So if I am somebody that is so excited and that's a feature I love is the smart materials, I would grab that roll holder as well as those smart materials. A few more really fun things that I personally recommend checking out for your Cricut Explorer 3 is some Cricut Infusible ink sheets or the Cricut Infusible ink pens. You could just simply grab one box of this, or maybe it's going to be included in a bundle. This stuff is really, really fun, so I highly recommend that you check that out. Once again, they're in the transfer sheets, or you can even get the pens, as well as these cards and watercolors. So you can actually get card packs to where you put the pins in and Cricut will draw and cut all of that out and make happy birthday cards. So you can check those out. But these ones in particular, they are brand new and I'm so excited. These are watercolor sets. I have not played with them just yet. So if this is something you guys want to see me put to use, y'all guys comment down below. But I'm excited to play with this one. This is the watercolor card sheet, so you can get the card packs. These are like 5x5. And then it has the markers as well as the watercolor pens. So what's going to happen is our Cricut is going to draw. Here's a little example here on the back. Our Cricut is going to draw out the design, and then we're going to use that watercolor, the little paintbrush, to color that in. I love watercoloring. So I don't know about you guys, but I think this would be a really fun bundle to play with. And I think you can get just the 4-pack, like this is the 8-pack. You can get these in 2 separate 4-packs to make it even cheaper. But look for this and see if this is included in your bundle as well. Once again, if you guys are an Access member and you're going to sign up for that, maybe sign up for Access before you purchase your machine just to get it a little bit cheaper. That's something to consider as well. But this is something I'm truly super excited to try out. I hope if you guys are a beginner, you guys have found this very helpful from setting up and unboxing your Cricut Explorer 3. You guys comment down below and let me know if I have helped you set up and go through that process and you've got your machine up and running. Let me know, what is your first projects that you're gonna make? Are you making t-shirts, a cup? I wanna know all of that stuff down below. Now, I also wanna know, if you guys have owned the Cricut Explorer 3, what would you recommend to a beginner? What is the very first thing starting over? What would you purchase first? What things do you think you use more? Are you a Cricut Access member? Do you recommend it? What is your favorite features? Help us down below so that way we as crafters can help each other out. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button as well as the subscribe button down below, and I'll see you guys on the next one.